दिख तो नहीं रही।
Hi everyone. I hope I'm audible and visible. Yeah, just give me a moment. I'll share the link so that all of you can join and we can start the session. So that all of you can join. Hi Rohini, how are you? Alright, hi, hello everyone. I hope everything is fine. You're doing amazing. How was the day? Just let me know in the comments. I had a very long and tiring day, so we will be starting the session ASAP as soon as possible. Yeah. Thank you so much for the first like. Alright, so today we are going to do common mistakes in English part 3. So we have already done two parts of it. You can go and watch it on YouTube under the section live. Today we will be discussing third part, which will again have around 10 rules to discuss. Okay, so without further ado, let's begin and let me share my screen. Okay, I'm assuming that my screen is visible to you all. So here it is written part 9, but it isn't part 9, it is part 3 of the series that we are running on YouTube. Alright, so let's begin. The first one, it is older versus elder. Now, this is the common mistake we make while talking or while using these two words, older and elder. Now, let's see what is the difference. What is the meaning of older? What is older, first of all? Think about it. Where do you use older and where do you use elder? And old is actually a word, and then after adding er to it we are using comparative form of it. But what about elder? How do you describe elder? Think about it. If not, you're not able to type, it's okay. Think about it. Where do we use elder and where do we use older? And do you know the difference between the two? Alright, so let's see what is older. Now, older is when you are comparing the age of two people or thing. Age of two people or thing. Why two? Because this is comparative degree. And in comparative degree, you usually use comparative form of the word, which is older. Right? So, older is used for comparing the age of two people. Okay, it is the comparative form of the word old. This is very important. So it is a word, but it is actually a comparative form of the word old. Right? It refers to someone or something that is more advanced in age or advanced in time and can be used for both people and object. So someone who's advanced in time and advance in age. First thing to remember. And second thing is it can talk about both people and things. So older is the correct form when you're making comparison between ages without any family or relationship implications. So remember, there are no family or relationships involved, no family relationships involved. There you use this word older. Now it is a neutral term. Okay, you have to remember this, that it is a neutral term. I hope you understand what neutral actually means. Do you know what neutral means? Neutral means it is not gender biased. It can be used when you are comparing two ages of subject, whether they are living or objects. So can be used for both. So here they are saying neutral in terms of living beings and object. It can be used for both living being and object. It is not biased towards any gender or any category. Here it is living beings and objects. For example, she's older than her brother. For people, if you want to use it, you will use it in this manner. The second one is, this book is older than that one. Now here this THAN, than, is pronounced as than. Than. You will have to open your jaw. Just open your mouth. You make the use of your jaw. Than. It is not then, but than. THEN is then, but THAN is than. Than. Right, so she's older than her brother. Here we are using it for person. And in the second one, in the second example, we are using it for the object. This book is older than the last one. Alright, so this is how you say it. This is how you use it. More examples. My older brother is studying abroad. Here also you're using it for a person, and especially a person who's advanced, more advanced in age. This book is older than the one on the shelf. Right? So this is how you can elaborate it. But remember, it can be used for both living beings and object, and also for someone whenever you are actually comparing two ages, or for something or someone that is more advanced in age or time. So this is how you use older. The girl is older than that one. Again, comparison. She is older than her brother. Now, incorrect example. She is elder than her brother. Now, why is it incorrect here? We will see in a while. But for now, just remember that older is the correct term for comparing ages. Now, when we are comparing, when we are making comparison here, remember one thing, that these people do not belong to the same family. They are actually talking about a girl who belongs to different lineage, different family. Similarly, she is older than her brother. Her brother could be anyone's brother, not necessarily the brother of the same girl we are talking about. Right? So remember that whenever there's one family involved, in that case we prefer using elder. Elder is the right word to use in such cases. Alright, so elder is also used for the same. Elder is also referring to someone who is older but within the family, especially among siblings. So one thing that you need to specifically focus on here is, whenever you're talking about same family, same lineage, whenever same family implies specifically siblings, then in that case you're supposed to use elder. Okay, so it indicates someone older within the family, usually among siblings. So this is something that you need to remember and jot it down if possible, so that you can remember it for eternity, forever. For instance, just read the example. So my elder brother is John. Now I'm talking about my brother who's a part of my family and also considered as sibling. Therefore, elder is the most appropriate word that you must use. Similarly, she is the elder of the two sisters. Now again, you're comparing two sisters, two members of the same family, and one is more in age than other. So in that case, you're supposed to use elder. But for older, it is nothing like that. Whosoever is more advanced in age, be it thing or people, you can use older, but for elder specifically, you have to be conscious. Right? So typically refers to someone who is older and respected. Second thing that you need to specifically focus on here is, apart from telling that the person is older, it also includes respect, right? So if you want to respect someone, then also you use elder, someone who's older or respected, often in the same family or community. Okay, any senior member of the church or organization, if you want to give them respect, you use elder. My elder sister always gives wise advice. The elder statesman shared his life experiences. So, whenever you want to talk about someone who's more renowned and respected, you can use this word elder. And of course, the person has to be more in age as well. Alright, I hope this is clear. So, this is the basic definition that you must remember when it comes to using older and elder. Older means simply someone who's more advanced in age, be it thing or people, and elder is specifically used for someone who's more in age, but either you're giving respect, either you want to give respect, or the person belongs to same family. Okay, so this is something that you must keep in mind while using older and elder. Alright, so this is something that you can keep with yourself. Take the screenshot of this image. Elder, most specifically for familial or hierarchical relationships. It can sometimes be used for things in a figurative sense. But older is more common. We mostly use older. For instance, people. He is my elder brother. You belong to the same family as your brother's family. Therefore, you're using elder here. Okay, so remember this. Okay, this is something that can be kept as a screenshot. So, if possible, take the screenshot of this image as well. Now, what is the meaning of kin? What do you understand by kin? Have you heard this word before? What is the meaning of kin? K-I-N. Kith and kin. What is the meaning of K-I-T-H and K-I-N? Any idea about it? So basically, it is an idiomatic phrase, kith and kin, where you want to refer to about your family and friends. So family, friends, parents, siblings, spouse, collectively known as kith and kin, K-I-T-H and K-I-N. Kith and kin. So for example, I'm spending the holidays with my kith and kin. That means I'm spending the holidays with my family, my closed ones, my inner circle. The family reunion brought together kith and kin from all over the world. Okay? So this is how you can use this idiom kith and kin, which mostly means relatives, family, siblings, inner circle, closed ones. Alright, closed ones. Yeah. Okay. Now, oldest. Where do you use oldest? So, oldest is used when referring to one who is most advanced in age among group regardless of family ties. Okay, oldest applies to any situation where the comparison is about age in a group, not limited to family. So it could be any group, not a familial group, but any group. There you use oldest, right? Read it carefully. So oldest is more widely used. We barely use eldest, but oldest is widely used. It can refer to both people and object, and it is what is oldest? She's the oldest person in the room. This book is the oldest in the library. So this is the superlative degree of the word old. Old, older, oldest. More examples. The girl is the oldest of all. That means out of all the girls, she is more advanced in age. He is oldest in the class. That means out of all the people in the class, she or he is the oldest one. But where do we use eldest? Where do we use eldest? Eldest could be used when referring to the one who is most advanced in age among family members. Eldest is specifically used to indicate the oldest person in a family. So, oldest could be used for anyone in the group who is most advanced in age. But eldest is specifically used for someone, especially who is a part of the family. So if someone is oldest in your family, you can call that member of the family as the eldest member of the family. Okay, I hope this is clear. My eldest brother is not here. She is the eldest of 3 siblings. सबसे बड़े member के लिए, especially who's part of the family, उसके लिए हम eldest use करते हैं. Remember this. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Okay, next rule number 2 is interesting versus interested. What is the difference? Do you know there's a difference between the two? Are you aware? Anyone? Just let me know in the comments if you are aware. No? Okay, no worries. So let's check. Interesting could be used to describe something that captures attention or evokes curiosity. Something that captures your attention, something which is very captivating, very attractive. It gains your attention. Then in that case, you use the word interesting. Or something that evokes curiosity, something which is very fascinating. For that thing, we use interesting. For that thing, object, or maybe people, we use this word interesting. Interesting is used for things or events that engage attention. Right? But I read an interesting story. That was an interesting movie. So these are the examples of the word interesting. Interesting means something that gains your attention, something that captures your attention, something which is very captivating. For all these things, you use the word interesting, something which is very fascinating. However, interested is used when you want to describe someone who is curious or engaged by someone. For example, are you interested in your work? He is very interested in sports. So, when describing someone who is curious or engaged by something, in that case, you use the word interested. It describes someone who is curious, enthusiastic, or invested in something. For example, if I'm saying that I am interested in learning more about space exploration, here interested is the apt word. However, if I'm saying that the documentary is really interesting, that means I'm saying that that thing or that documentary is actually engaging, fascinating, or captivating. In the session that we have had of learning English through stories, in that I told you a word that you can use instead of using interesting or fascinating, and the word was intriguing. So it is a better way to say the same thing, that if something is fascinating, something is very interesting, you're so much interested in it. So you can use the word intriguing. That's quite intriguing. The book was very intriguing. That means I'm trying to say is the book was very fascinating. The book was very interesting. So instead of interesting or fascinating, I am using the word intriguing. Alright? Okay. For instance, are you interested in your work? He is very interested in sports. Next one. Father and further. They are almost same. They sound similar, but there's a difference. Father and further. First of all, closely observe the spellings of both the words. Father and further. What do you understand by that? What do you think it means? Just think about it and think in English. Because remember, your motive, your objective is to learn English and speak fluently, articulate well, and be eloquent. Okay, let's check. So, father, when you're talking about physical distance, then in that case you use father. Okay, it is pronounced as father. So, whenever you're talking about a distance which is measurable, physical distance to be precise, then in that case you use this word father. Okay, it describes physical distance. Remember, something that can be measured, something which is measurable. For example, I'm going to run farther than yesterday. मतलब आज मैं जितना दौड़ी उससे दूर दौड़ूंगी या उससे ज़्यादा दौड़ूंगी. So you're talking about the physical distance here. Therefore, farther. Okay, often, but the next further. Okay, first let's see the example. Here in this case, if I'm saying that we need to discuss farther, this is incorrect, because in discussion we are not talking about any measurable distance, like let's say we are not talking about measurable distance or physical distance. That is why farther is not correct here. This exact statement is not correct here. The correct word here would be further, not father. Remember, you're supposed to use further here. Why? Because we are not talking about any physical distance in this case. So where do we use further? We use further when referring to metaphorical or abstract distances or indicate more in addition. Okay, so it has two usage. First of all, it describes abstract concepts like time, effort, degree. For example, I'll further my education with a master's degree. So what I'm trying to say here is that I'm going to continue my addition. I'm going to add more to my education. So here you're supposed to use further. But saying that the stone is further down the road or the store is further down the road is wrong English. Here you are supposed to use farther. Why? Because you're talking about physical distance. And in case of physical distance, we use farther, not further. This is something that you must remember. Alright? Alright. We need to discuss this further. That's the correct usage of further. She wanted to go further in her career. Again, we're not talking about physical distances but abstract idea. Now, there are a few questions in the comment section. Let me just go through it once. Okay. So, elder is used in comparison. Of course, elder is used in comparison. Elder can be used for members whom you want to show respect, and at the same time, they are older to you. Okay? Am I not clear? Just let me know if I'm not clear. Is it? That could be because of the echo, I believe, Piyush. Alright. So farther for physical distance and further for abstract extensions or additional discussion. So if at all that's the case, if my voice is hoarse, then I'm gonna use better equipment to go live. So just bear me for this session and I'll try to figure out things by tomorrow. Alright? Okay. Now, some versus any. What is the difference between some and any? What do you understand by it? So let's quickly go through it. Where do you use some? You use some referring when you want to refer to a non-specific quantity in affirmative sentence and some polite offers or request. In that case, you use some. Okay, so when quantity isn't fully defined, okay, when you don't know the numbers, in that case you use basically some. And also it can be used, or it is used in positive sentences. I have some strawberries. That means kuch to hai. You're not saying ki, you are not saying it negatively, but you're saying it positively, that I have some strawberries left, don't worry, we can eat it. So some is used in positive connotation, positive context. I have some books to read. Would you like some tea? Okay, some tea मतलब क्या आप थोड़ी tea पीना चाहेंगे? This is how you say it. So it is always used in a positive context. Okay? Now, do you have some question? Now this is a question format. Okay, this entire sentence is in question format. So you're supposed to use any here, not some. So where do we use any? Any is usually used in negative sentences or question when quantity is unspecified. So some is also used for the quantity which is unspecified, and any is also used for the same. But the difference between the two is some is used for positive sentences, positive sense, but any is used for negative sense. It is suitable in negative sentences, questions, or when referring to an indefinite quantity that might be zero also. Alright? Do you have any questions? No, I don't have any. I don't have any money. So any money means मेरे पास कुछ भी पैसा नहीं है. So this is a very negative sentence that you don't have money. Alright, do you have any questions? Now here the answer could be zero also. So that is why it is more in the more on the negative side. Right? So any negative connotation, negative context, negative sentences, and some for positive sentences. This is the major difference between the two. Now I have not got some money. This is incorrect. Why? Because not got some money is a negative sentence. So here you're supposed to use any instead of some. I've not got some money. Instead of that, you'll say I've not got any money. I don't have any money. This is how you express yourself. So some for positive statements and polite request, and any for negative questions, uncertain quantities, and negatives. Alright? Okay, now this is my favorite, and I think all of you must know this. Difference between latter and later. So what do you understand by latter? What do you mean by latter? What is the meaning of latter? What is the meaning of latter? Okay. So latter simply is used to the second of the two mentioned. Very, very important. Pay attention. Listen very closely. Where do you use latter? Latter is used to refer to the second of the two mentioned items. For example, if you're talking about two things, so the second of the two mentioned can be referred as latter. So if I'm saying that between tea and coffee, I prefer latter. That means you're talking about the second thing, coffee. When you're saying that I prefer latter, means the second of the two thing. There are two things, tea and coffee. And by this statement, the person is trying to say that the person prefers coffee, right? Latter means the second one. If I'm saying here former means the first one. तो टी एंड कॉफी के लिए आपको ऑप्शन दिया गया है एंड यू आर सेइंग कि आई लाइक द लैटर वन. दैट मीन्स जो सेकेंड नंबर पे बोला गया है, दैट पर्सन लाइक्स दैट, राइट? सो बिटवीन टी एंड कॉफी आई लाइक लैटर मीन्स टी और कॉफी में मुझे दूसरा वाला पसंद है. आई लाइक द सेकेंड वन. If I'm saying that between tea and coffee, I like the former. That means I'm talking about tea. मुझे पहला वाला पसंद है. So former is used for first option and coffee is used for the second option. He mentioned two solutions, but the latter seems better. दो solution है, but जो दूसरा वाला है seems better. The second one seems better. This is what you're trying to say. Latter means the second of the two choices available. Alright, is it clear? And later means it refers to a time that is after the current time. So later relates to time and is used to describe something happening after a particular point in time. For instance, I will see you later. कुछ टाइम बाद मैं आपको देखूंगी. या शी अराइव्ड लेटर दैन एक्सपेक्टेड. सो एक्सपेक्टेड टाइम से बाद में पहुंचना, यू टॉकिंग अबाउट टाइम, यू आर रेफरिंग टू टाइम हियर. It relates to time and is used to describe something that is happening after a particular time. So in that case, you use later. But latter means you have two choices and when you're picking second of the two choices available, then you use the word latter. Between tea and coffee, I prefer latter. That means I prefer the second one. So if you're saying that between tea and coffee, I prefer the later, that is incorrect. Later is not apt word. Why? Because latter is what you're supposed to use. You're talking about choices. You have to pick the second one. So for second one, you always use the word latter, not later. Okay, so latter for the second of the two items and later for time beyond the present moment. Now, very, very important. What do you think is the difference between sick and ill? What is the difference between sick and ill? Alright, so sick is used to describe someone who is not feeling well or describe nausea. Right? Sick is often used in informal context to describe general unwellness or specific nausea. Okay? But let's see the example. So she is feeling sick today. She got sick after eating that food. So when you're not well, now it could be for any reason. Okay, it describes mostly nausea. But if you want to say ill, then it is mostly used in formal context when you're referring to serious or chronic conditions. So when you're just talking about unwellness, right? Casually, you're not feeling well for some reason. Let's say you had something in lunch and you're not happy about it, like your stomach is not happy about it. So you can simply say that I'm sick. But ill is used more formally for serious or chronic conditions, chronic diseases. For that, you use the word ill. So ill is typically used in formal context and for more serious or long-term health conditions. Alright? He has been ill for a long time. She is recovering from illness. So long, serious, chronic diseases, for those you're supposed to use ill, and she's recovering from illness. Again, it looks like a serious condition because she's taking time to recover. So you're supposed to use ill here or illness here. Right? Now the next rule is as versus like. Now I have seen a lot of you making mistake while using as and like. So let's see how you can deter it. So use as when you're indicating a role or function or when making comparison where both elements are clauses. Clauses means sentences, not exactly sentences, but they are two different set of words. As is used for roles or when comparing action between clauses. Right? Like is used when you're making comparison between nouns or pronouns. Right? So like is used for simple comparison between nouns or pronouns. But when you're comparing two clauses, what are clauses? We have a lot of clauses, dependent, independent. And then if you're making comparison between the two, then you're supposed to use as. But when you're making comparison between, the simple comparison going on between nouns or pronouns, then in that case, you're supposed to use like. He runs like the wind. He looks like her mother. So here, she looks like her mother, sorry. So she is your, what is she? Noun. Not noun exactly, but pronoun. And mother is your noun. So when you're making comparison between nouns, pronouns, or noun, pronoun, then you're supposed to use like. She looks as her mother will be incorrect here because we are looking for clauses in this case. Right? So he runs as the wind would be incorrect here. Why? Because we are simply making comparison between nouns and pronouns. So this is your pronoun he, and noun wind is your pronoun. So as is incorrect here. You should use like. She works like a teacher. Now, as is used for roles when comparing actions. So, in this case, you're actually comparing action. That her work is like a teacher. So, she works as a teacher would be correct here. Right? So, you have to be very particular. She works like a teacher? No, she works as a teacher. You're not actually making any sort of comparison, but you're actually telling that she is a teacher. Therefore, as will be appropriate here. Now, difference between so and such. What do you understand by so? First of all, tell me. So, we use so for adjectives and adverbs to intensify their meaning. For example, the movie was so interesting. What is interesting? Your adjective. She runs so fast. Again, what is fast? Your adjective. So when you want to intensify, when you want to specifically focus on the fact that it was actually amazing or interesting, then just to specify on your adverb or adjective, you use so. Alright? So this is something that you must remember. But where do we use such? What is the usage of such? So such is used before a noun or pronoun phrase to emphasize the quality or extent. For example, it was such a wonderful day. It was such a beautiful day. She has such a kind heart. You never say she's so a kind heart. There are no adjectives or adverbs here. Beautiful day, of course, beautiful is your adjective, but here you are specifically focusing on noun or noun phrase. Beautiful day is your noun phrase, and for such things you're supposed to use such. She's such a kind heart. That means she is very kind, very generous. So again, kind heart is your noun phrase. And before noun phrase, you use such, not so. She has so a kind heart would be incorrect here. Why? Because such is used when adjective is followed by a noun or pronoun. Here there's this adjective kind, and then we have heart, which is noun. So you're supposed to use such here, not so. I hope this is clear. Many much. Now this is easy and I believe you must be knowing, you must be aware, but let me walk you through it. So many is used for countable nouns and much is used for uncountable nouns. This is the basic difference. Countable nouns, things you can count individually. Okay, and many is used with plural nouns that can be counted. Right? For example, there are many books on the shelf. How many apples do you want? So you're talking about the quantity. But if something that you cannot count and you're still using many, then it is incorrect. There are many water in the bottle is incorrect, will be incorrect. Why? Because you cannot count water. It is uncountable. So you're supposed to use much here. So that brings us to the definition of much. Much is used for uncountable nouns, things that cannot be counted individually. Okay, it is singular, it can be used with singular, uncountable nouns that present a quantity or amount. For instance, there isn't much sugar left. Can you count sugar? I don't think so. I cannot count sugar. How much water do you need? Now, can you count water? No, it's not possible to count water. Therefore, you're supposed to use much here. So, this is the basic difference, the clear difference, the one and only difference between many and much. So, how much apples do you want will be incorrect. Why? Because you're supposed to use many here. You can count apples, right? Okay. And the last one, have and take. Now, where do you use have? So, when you possess something or experience something or for a routine action, you use have. So, basically, it indicates possession, something that belongs to you, or an action that is a part of your routine, like eating and drinking. Very, very important difference, and you all must focus here. For instance, I have breakfast at 8 a.m. She has a car. So again, has, have. Why are you using all of this? Just to precisely focus on the fact that you have breakfast, you consume it. It is a part of your routine. You possess car. The car belongs to you. Therefore, you're using has here. She has a car. I take breakfast at 8 a.m. would be wrong, because since we're talking about routine actions, for routine actions you're supposed to use have and not take. But take is used to refer to consuming medicine specifically. There are some actions that must be considered. Taking a break or using transportation. So I took a car to my office, or I took medicine at 8 a.m. I'm taking a break for a while and then we will resume. So for specifically consuming breakfast, or not breakfast, sorry, my bad, consuming medicine, if you want to take a break or you're using any sort of transportation, then in that case you're supposed to use take. For instance, I take a pill every morning. Let's take a break and go for a tea break. Let's take a break, or let's go for a tea walk. It can be said in this manner. Why to repeat break again and again? So what I'm trying to say here is that use take for specific actions and have for routine, or if in case you possess something belongs to you. In that case, you can use have. Okay, so she has a break at noon. No, she takes a break at noon. This is how you can say it. She had a break at noon is incorrect. She takes a break at noon will be correct here. Okay, so that's how you can use it. So take is specifically used for certain actions like consuming medicine, break, or trip as well. I took a trip to London. Okay. Alright, so that's that. We are done for the day. If at all you have any doubt, you can go again through the video, through the entire session. All the sessions are there on YouTube. And we are actually trying to have these live sessions daily. So make sure that if not attending live, you be a part of it. Watch all the videos because the content is great and I enjoy teaching. So we are planning to continue it as much as I can, at least for this entire month. We will be having live sessions every day at night. If at all you're caught up with any work, make sure that you watch the video. The recordings will be present on YouTube. Alright, under live. And of course, the last drill that you're supposed to do is please like the video if you enjoy these live sessions so that it can motivate me to make more such videos. Thank you so much for attending the session, and it makes me really happy that so many people watch live video. And if not so many, then I get a lot of texts or DMs on Instagram that you are thoroughly, completely enjoying the session. So that makes me happy and that makes my day. So that's all from my side for today. Let's connect again tomorrow at 9. Don't forget to join tomorrow at 9, and we'll be having amazing session on vocabulary tomorrow. So bye, take care, and good